Hello, everyone. My name is Manolis Finorilakis, your host for KarmaKrowdTV Episode 1. I'm also the host of Reality Crowd TV, so thank you for joining us this evening. We have a wonderful slate of guests, and the purpose of our show tonight is to talk about a wonderful crowdfunding campaign that will soon be launching on KarmaKrowd.com, the premier crowdfunding platform for IP protection services, as well as for helping out campaigners really make their campaigns ready to go and rock and roll. So tonight we have a few guests, and before I actually introduce everyone, I'd like to actually just let the audience know there is a question and answer application. So at any time during the episode, if you would like to actually submit a question, we can look at the question and answer application at any time, and you can direct those questions to anyone on our show. So I guess we'll get right into it then. We'll introduce the minds behind the documentary, and we'll also introduce the editor as well. So first up, I would like to introduce Stephanie Rabiola, the director and producer of JRE Entertainment, the company that is producing One Day, Two Legends. So Stephanie, pleasure to have you aboard, and please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Manolis. Thank you so much for having us. Like you said, I'm Stephanie Rabiola. I'm a director and producer of the film One Day, Two Legends.
Excellent. And we also have with us Sue Lawson, who is an independent editor with Chicago Edit. And Sue, can you please introduce yourself as well?
Hi, I'm Sue Lawson. I'm an independent editor with Chicago Edit. Thrilled to be working on this movie, One Day, Two Legends. It's awesome, and the people behind it, Stephanie and Tom, amazing talent, creative talents.
Great. And then we also have with us, via my cell phone, we have Tom Jacombs, the executive producer of JRE Entertainment. And Tom, can you please say hello to the audience?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us, Manolis.
Well, our pleasure, Tom. And you know, it's you're traveling in Texas, and we appreciate your time. I know it's difficult when you're traveling, so thank you for joining us via telecom.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So right now, we really want to get into the actual show. So I'm going to play a snippet of it in a moment. But Stephanie, if you could please kind of tell us a little bit about One Day, Two Legends, and then I'll play the short clips that the audience can see as well.
Sure. It is a full-length documentary about the day that Elvis Presley and the Beatles met. They only met one day in all of musical history, and we tell the story through Joe Esposito, who is actually Elvis's best friend and road manager. And he was the one who actually picked the Beatles up from the airport and brought them to see Elvis Presley, and the two greatest, musical legends of all time, meeting for the one and only time. We also, to help tell the story, we have interviewed lots of famous artists to help tell the story, like Steven Tyler, Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees, Louise Harrison, who's George Harrison's sister. And it's a great film. It's coming together really nicely.
Very good, and that's the perfect primer for us to actually show the clip here. So I'm going to share my screen. And we'll give a little taste of One Day, Two Legends, the day that Elvis met the Beatles.
I got drafted at the age of 20. Just so happened, a very big entertainer at that time got drafted. Elvis Presley.
Involuntarily retired, a gyrating guitarist's departure from the public eye left his Blue Jean fans all shook up, so we hear. But Elvis doesn't seem to mind at all.
Elvis walked straight to me. He goes, "Hi, I'm Elvis Presley." Like, I didn't know who he was, right? I mean, I was just in shock. He walked over to me, but that kind of gentleman, I guess my whole life changed for that reason. The minute I shook his hand and I looked into his eyes, I knew where he could be from. I had no idea what I wanted to do when I got into service. Like I say, Elvis knew what I was going to do. He's the one that made me do it.
Just a few weeks ago.
Elvis Presley!
When jumping and the jump again, the swing. You should have heard the knocked out jailbird sing.
I like a lot of the new groups, Beatles, Beards, whoever. But I really like a lot of the new music.
You know, roundabout, I think when George would have been 13 or 14, there was some TV thing of Elvis, and my brother got to see Elvis performing. And I remember my mum said to me, she said it was so cute, because she said, here he comes to her very, very quietly one night, and kind of whispers in her ear, in a very shy kind of way, hey Mum, do you think you could maybe get me a guitar, because I think that's the kind of job I could do.
We just wanted to get guitars, get in a band, because we didn't really have proper jobs at the time.
1964, when they first came here, they did an interview, and they said, what do you want to do while you're here in America? The first thing they all said, we all want to meet Elvis Presley.
They, throughout their early career, were hoping one day or another they would eventually meet the king.
We met up with Elvis Presley. One great evening, all these kids were there, screaming, yelling, I'm trying to get over the wall and everything.
I was very young at the time, but when I heard that, it was like, can you do that?
Everybody wants to do it. And that's the phenomenon. If everybody wants to be you, you struggle.
They went up and asked him the same question everybody asked him.
That's right. That same question you get.
You know, he walked him out, he go with the cape over, and I said, you know, will you walk me out on stage? I want him to walk me out on stage, with my jacket over my shoulders, and I walked out and like, wow, that was it for me.
To visit Graceland, it was like one of the high points of my life. Well, Joe experienced the real life. Elvis at home, Elvis watching color. Elvis singing to himself. There'll never be anyone like Elvis. In all the years I was with him, I never missed one show.
He was very, very much an inspiration.
He's a hero, man. Hey, I'm Steven Tyler. I'm Joe Perry. And you're watching One Day, Two Legends. And this is the church. Good legend. Nevertheless, one is legends.
All right. Excellent. So, you weren't kidding. You guys literally were interviewing two living legends as well, Steven Tyler and his partner there. So, I mean, that's amazing. I guess, Stephanie, let me ask you, what got you, what was the passion behind you and Tom doing this project? What got you guys really excited about this?
Well, we've been working on it for a while. In the beginning, it was Tom's idea. He had this relationship with Joe Esposito, and Joe and Tom had had several conversations about the day that Elvis and the Beatles met, and Tom had a lot of questions for Joe, and finally kind of came up with the idea, like, how come no one's ever done a film about it? And it's been mentioned in the anthology, but no one's ever really told the full story, particularly from Joe's perspective. So it was really kind of born via Tom's curiosity in kind of Tom's brain, and then Tom and I had worked on a couple other small film projects together, and we decided to collaborate. And it was, of course, very exciting to me to hear Tom talk about Joe, and of course, then meeting Joe is the greatest inspiration, because he is also a living legend and a wonderful, wonderful man.
Yeah, I mean, the things that Joe must have seen being Elvis's manager all those years. I mean, he must just have a wealth of stories, and that's amazing that you're getting it right from the source to really create this amazing documentary. And how did Sue get involved? Sue, how did you meet the team here at One Day Two Legends?
Actually, one of the other crew members, who's gotten local footage for them, Bruce Himmelblau, met Tom through some event and brought me in to introduce me to Tom and introduce me to Stephanie. He's good. He said, "Hey, I've got an editor for you guys." So the moment I met them, Stephanie started telling me about Joe, and I was instantly hooked. I thought, not only do I want to work on this project, I want to see it. I mean, I'm willing to go ahead and pay money to go and see this, which to me is the greatest compliment that an editor can give. It's just like, no, I want to see this badly enough that I would be willing to go ahead and plunk down some money and go sit in the theater and watch this, because Joe is just that captivating a personality. And Stephanie and Tom are really bringing the entire story to life. It's very multi-dimensional.
Absolutely. And Tom, I want to bring you in too, because you obviously have known Joe for a while. So tell us how you even met Joe. How did you meet Joe initially?
That's an interesting story. Joe is originally from Chicago. He was born and raised on the north side, and he left Chicago to go. He was drafted into the Army in 1958, and that is where most people know he met Elvis. Actually, they were both stationed together in Germany, and he just happened to have a chance to meet. Joe had to play flag football one Saturday morning, and it just happened to be Elvis, his group of guys, and Elvis invited Joe back to the house after the football game, and as you'll see in the documentary, when Joe tells the story, he knew the minute, they shook hands, that they were just going to be friends. Elvis took a liking to Joe and asked him to come work for him after they got out of the Army, and the rest is history. Joe, famously became his road manager, and more importantly, his best friend. He was best man at his wedding. He baptized Lisa Marie, and he walked Elvis out on stage for every concert he performed after the Army years. So nobody was closer to Elvis than Joe. And to get back to the question, Joe's brother and sister remained in the Chicago area, and I was able to meet his brother Frank, who frequented a restaurant that was owned by a friend of mine. And when Joe came to town, Frank brought him to the restaurant for dinner, and I was able to meet him, and I was a huge Elvis fan. I was excited to meet Joe. I'd always wanted to meet him. And we developed a friendship. Joe helped me connect with some people in Hollywood and on some other projects I was working on, and the conversation just came up one day about the meeting of the Beatles, and I was intrigued by Joe's recall of the story, and talked to Stephanie about collaborating on the idea. So when we approached Joe, and he agreed, and that was about 4 years ago. We set out to Las Vegas to make a real simple talking head documentary with some Elvis and Beatle footage. And then once Joe started talking about all the famous artists that he knew, we decided that interviews with these famous artists to make the project much more interesting to a larger audience. So that's how we were able to start interviewing Steven Tyler and Joe Perry of Aerosmith and Mary Gibb of the Bee Gees. Then we met Louise Harrison, George's sister, and they did an interview together, and it was just some fascinating footage that we've captured, and we're going to continue to build a box set as famous artists are lining up to be included in this project, because it doesn't matter what genre of music you're in. If you're in the music industry, you're an artist, you've been influenced by Elvis and the Beatles one way or another, and so it's just interesting for every artist, and they all want to get involved.
Absolutely, you raise some excellent points, Tom, and it is an inspiration to many. What we're seeing of your story throughout social media, we're really looking at it from a very close angle. The community of Elvis supporters and the Beatles supporters are really amazing. I mean, after all these years of since the Beatles and Elvis were really out there, their legend survives. Hence the name of your film, One Day Two Legends. It's something that stands the test of time. So I really am inspired by what you guys are doing. We've lost Stephanie, but I'd like to go to Sue for a minute. And Sue, can you tell us a little bit about how your role as the editor, kind of what has been done so far as the footage that has been taken? Because I know there's a lot of footage that has been taken already. So kind of tell us about that journey.
Well, the lovely thing is being the editor is that I get to watch absolutely everything. And I make copious notes on everything about what I think might go well together. It's a giant jigsaw puzzle. Every film that I work on it's a giant jigsaw puzzle. The nice thing is I've got Stephanie, I've got Tom to help really put those pieces together. So we'll go ahead and confer on the direction that they see this going in. They have a very clear vision about what this film should be and how to get from point A to point B. And sometimes in my role as an editor, that's what's missing. This time I'm working with two people who are so on top of things. They know their personalities, the characters who are involved in this, inside and out. They know the information, they know the story, they know the legends, and it makes a huge difference when it comes to crafting a story that I think goes far beyond just the information that one day the Beatles and Elvis met, because there's so much more depth and richness to the characters than just that. And they are experts when it comes to bringing that out in the film itself.
Absolutely. And that is a unique angle you do have, because you have to put it together. You have to take all the wonderful stories in the footage and just kind of put that together in a cohesive manner. So that is a pretty neat place that you find yourself in.
It's great. It's great. You don't want to leave anything on the cutting room floor because it's all gold. But well, Tom was mentioning a box set, so that's nice to know that there are things that the audience, if you don't see it all in this one, you never know what's coming further down the pike. So.
Right. Absolutely. So you raise a good point there as well. So Tom, let me ask you this. When did you hear about crowdfunding, and specifically, how did you meet the people at KarmaKrowd? I know Cindy Summerfield is the founder of KarmaKrowd. Kind of why did you decide to go the crowdfunding route, and how did you meet Cindy?
Well, I do a lot of networking. I own a marketing company. It's what I do outside of making the film, and so I'm at networking events on a regular basis, and that allows me to share the concept of the film with a large database of business owners and entrepreneurs that I meet on a regular basis. So back a couple months ago, I was at an event, struck up a conversation with Cindy Summerfield, and I was just captivated by her idea. She's basically started a new crowdfunding business that not only puts your idea out there for all the Elvis and Beatles fans to share in the event, but also helps you with the legal aspect and the marketing aspect as well, which is not common in the crowdfunding industry. So she's really developed an idea which I think is going to be very successful, and we're very lucky and very grateful to have discovered her and to be partnering with her and yourself on this campaign.
Great. Yeah, it really is amazing. The whole movement of crowdfunding is really amazing in the fact that it's people funding people, and it's allowing these ideas to come to life, and these stories that need to be told, to find an outlet that allows the little guy to actually bring something beautiful to life. I almost akin it to the fact that imagine if Leonardo da Vinci was around when crowdfunding like this was occurring. he wouldn't have to cater to like the Medici family, you know. The world is your patron with crowdfunding, and so, you know, your story is going to hit upon Elvis lovers and Beatles lovers, not only from the U.S., but there's people all over the world that love these people. So, you know, your message is going to be heard loud and clear, particularly towards not only the U.S. base, but everyone in the world who loves Elvis would benefit from your story that you're going to bring to the table.
Yes, absolutely. I want to just add to your thought there that Joe Esposito is sought after by Elvis fan clubs around the world on a regular basis to appear and to speak, and it's bigger outside the U.S. than it is inside the U.S.
Wow. So it truly is a global movement for that for the love of Elvis. So that's huge.
Absolutely, and the Beatles are just as big.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and here's the unique aspect of what you're doing too. You are teaming up with certain organizations to actually host live experiences as well during this process of preparing to launch your crowdfunding campaigns. Do you want to kind of expand on the other things that you're working on in conjunction with this whole project?
I'm sorry, Manolis, I had a little interference. Can you repeat that, please?
Sure. I was just going to say, on top of the documentary film that you're producing, there's some other unique aspects to the whole project that allows people to enjoy live experiences as well. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, can you kind of expand on what the live experience is?
Absolutely. Our business plan that we have developed to promote the film and the series of films that we plan to produce was actually born back in Las Vegas when we first started in 2010. We had interviewed an Elvis tribute artist there, and we've interviewed several of them since. And we discussed the idea of having an Elvis tribute concert to promote the film. And as we were developing the idea, we came up with the concept that what if Elvis and the Beatles had decided that one day that they got together to go out on tour together. And so we developed the concept of a concert tour with Elvis and the Beatles in their prime touring together, and that's what we're developing. And we're also going to have an event like that at the premiere of the first film, which is going to happen August 28th at the Concord Banquet Hall outside of Chicago. And we're bringing in one of the best Elvis tribute artists in the world, Travis Powell, who has won a lot of the big competitions around the country and around the world. He's just phenomenal. We had him perform at an event last year, and everybody just loved him. So anybody who wants information for that event can get that information from our website, onedaytwolegends.com, and that's all spelled out, ONETWO. And Joe Esposito will be there as well. We're going to premiere a biopic called Through Joe's Eyes, which we've developed. Actually, Stephanie's idea to develop that because we had so much in-depth information about Joe and his personal life and his life, before, during, and after Elvis. So it's going to be a real special event. Some of the artists that we've already interviewed may attend. We won't publicize that. I'm just saying that we invited them, and some of them have shown interest, and that's going to be August 28th, which is the actual anniversary of the day Elvis and the Beatles met.
Wow, yeah, I'm actually on the website right now. I'm showing the audience kind of where they can go to really get more information about what you just said, and that's onedaytwolegends.com. And there's really just a lot of great information. They can get all of that information. They could see any other events that you're planning to hold as part of the promotion for not only the crowdfunding campaign, but for the film in general. And see, this is what I like about what you guys are doing. You guys need the additional capital to really finish this film, but you're doing things now to really promote it, because your passion is great. You're going to find a way to really bring this to a reality. The crowdfunding is a way for really individuals to get involved and bring this to life, and kind of just tell us, why you need to crowdfund in the first place. What are the resources you lack currently that would be helped with a crowdfunding campaign?
Well, the most expensive part of this film is music rights, because Elvis and the Beatles are the two best-selling artists in history. Their fees, or the cost of purchasing those music rights, are, of course, going to be the highest fees in the industry as well. So those music rights and video footage fees are very expensive. So that's the main purpose for the crowdfunding.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, obviously Elvis and the Beatles, definitely the most expensive music rights. I mean, we even tried to get the rights to Dreamweaver just for something we were trying to do with Reality Crowd TV, and those were expensive. And that's Gary Wright, and he's not even close to the, to the success of the other people here. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. So for the viewers out here,
can you guys hear me?
Oh, Stephanie, yes, are you there?
Welcome back, Stephanie.
I'm here. I can't see you guys, but hopefully.
Can you hear us, Stephanie?
We can hear you.
Yeah, Steph might be having some tough technical difficulties, unfortunately. But yeah, so at this point, actually, I'd like to ask you, Sue. So from your perspective, how are you planning on attending these live events? Because I know there's a live event coming up in Chicago. Is that correct?
Oh yes, August. As Tom says, it's coming up in August, just a little over a month from now. Who wouldn't want to be there? I mean, it's awesome. The opportunity to go not only to the live event, but to meet Joe, the man himself. Obviously, I feel like I already know him just by going through all of the footage, but to meet the man himself, he is a true inspiration, I think, for everybody. So, yeah, I am definitely looking forward to that. It is on my calendar in ink, not just penciled in. It is on my calendar in ink. I think you should make it in. Connecticut is not that far away. You should drive on in for this. It's worth the trip.
I'm seriously considering it. I also thought that I heard that there was an event in July. Was there an event in July as well in Chicago?
No, that was postponed from July 24th, the original date, to August 28th, because of some scheduling conflicts, and then we wanted to premiere the film on the anniversary, so it all worked out perfectly. But there is no July event. That is the event that's been pushed to August 28th.
Great. Okay, that works. So I completely understand now. Because see, I had my my cousin's bachelor party on that weekend, so I couldn't have made it. And now I can.
They moved it so you could come. It's just that easy.
Now I can come. Now I'll be back from the bachelor party, and hopefully I'll be recovered at that point. So great. Now here's another piece I'd like to ask you too. You and Stephanie, this is for you, Tom. You and Stephanie went to a very special trip to Boston. Would you like to share with us kind of another element of the project, kind of the social element of what you're trying to do?
Oh yeah, Stephanie and I just traveled to Boston a couple weeks ago. We saw a news piece about the Boston Marathon bombing, and there was a segment about the Norton brothers who sadly both lost their right leg in the Boston Marathon bombing. So as a marketing company, I simply reached out to the website that they had posted and publicized, and offered to send their message out to our database of the thousands of business owners throughout Chicagoland. And they were grateful for that opportunity, and we were grateful to and happy to share it. And the mother of the Norton brothers then reached out to thank me by telephone, and we ended up having an hour-long conversation about her sons, Paul and JP, and all that they're going through, you know, having both lost their right leg, and it really is a sad story. So during that conversation, I asked Mrs. Norton if she was an Elvis fan, and she is. And so I invited her and her sons to the concert, and they are planning to attend. I know that Paul, one of the boys, won't travel. He's still a little traumatized, and it's difficult for him to travel. But we're all hoping to have Liz Norton, mother, and JP come. They also have just finished a book about their experience, and obviously it's a way to help them offset these tremendous medical expenses that they're facing. And a link to their website and to their book is available on our website, monday2lessons.com, and I strongly encourage everyone to please link on to their website, purchase the book. It's a very good book. I just finished it myself. It's a very moving story, and you know, it's an American thing to do for us to stand up and stand behind people who are victims of terrorism, and so we're hoping to see at least JP and Liz Norton at the event on August 28th. And like I said, we have a link on our website so that anyone can click on and purchase their book, and I strongly encourage everyone to do that.
Excellent. So yeah, I mean, you guys have been giving to the community and to people that inspire you for a long time. So you know, that tragedy and those people who suffer from that, you know, need all the support they can get. I mean, it's, you know, time goes by, but people's lives are changed forever. So it's really, you know, it's really important that we do support people who have gone through that. So thank you for sharing that, Tom.
Absolutely, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, so now you know, we've heard a lot. We've heard about the documentary. We've heard about the team, and actually maybe we'll elaborate on that. From your perspective, Sue, how many other team members are part of this production? I know you're one of the team members, the editor, but kind of share with us the other moving parts of this.
Well, generally speaking, on most films, I'll say the head of the dragon, if you will, are the producers and the directors. They're the ones with the vision. They're the ones who are pulling all of the components together. Obviously, there's the editor. That's me, yours truly. There are the people who are the shooters, if you will, the ones who are going ahead and capturing these tremendous stories on media for us to go ahead and sort through. But it's not just those people. It's the sound recorders. I think a lot of people don't realize just what goes into making a film these days. So it's the camera operators. It's the lighting technicians. It is the sound recorders. It's the grips, the people who are carrying the things and helping lug this entire behemoth amount of equipment with them. I used to be on that part of the crew, so I know that is a very difficult job sometimes, very rewarding, but a big challenge having to lug a lot of equipment along with you as well. There's the transportation coordinators, just getting people from point A to point B so they can record these interviews is amazing. There are the location scouts who are sitting here saying, okay, let's see, we've got Louise Harrison coming in town. We've coordinated when she's coming. Where can we go ahead? What's going to be a good location to conduct the interview? There are the, I'm going to go ahead and even branch out to the interns who may be helping process the footage, helping download it or upload it or put it wherever it needs to be so they can get it to me at that point. There's the transcriptionist, because all of these interviews have to be transcribed. Somebody else is usually seeing and or at least listening to them before they come to me, so we can all have a copy of this. And then there are the duplicates, the very multiple copies of everything, because this is gold and you do not want to just have it in one place. So I've got it, and I've got it on multiple hard drives and RAIDs and things that I'm working on. Stephanie has copies of it. Tom has copies of it. It's like there are copies all over the place. So God forbid, and I'm knocking wood on this, that something goes down. You've got backup and backup and backup. I call myself a belt and suspenders and button and zipper type of person because I want to make sure that I don't lose a second of this. This is truly history, and it is one of the most amazing. The stories, Joe's life is amazing to me. I think that that's one of the things that really captured me. So just like he was in the Army with Elvis, it is an army that produces and directs and publicizes and just works together to create what I think is going to be a very, very entertaining, informational, educational, enlightening, totally enjoyable end product here.
Sue, I mean, you know, you are much more than an editor, by the way. I mean, you're an inspiration. your passion just shows through, and that is 100%, you know, a credit as well to Tom and Stephanie, to really show the passion that they have for this, and you as someone who's part of the team have certainly drank the Kool-Aid.
I have indeed. Well, anybody who's met Tom and Stephanie and heard them even just give you a thumbnail description of this, if you're not hooked immediately, then what the heck is wrong with you? Because it's a great project. It's fascinating. And you can be a Beatles fan, you can be an Elvis fan, you can be a hardcore fan of both. You can just like music. You can just like personalities. No matter what, you are still going to find something about this that resonates with you. Because again, it's not just the Beatles. It's not just Elvis. It's Joe and Joe's life and everything that comes together. He is, to me, he's the key. He is the key to the kingdom with all of this. He is the one who has all of the truly fascinating stories, great anecdotes, wonderful sense of humor. He's got such a warm, vivacious, if you can say that about a man, just engaging personality that you just want to hug him and listen to him. You just want to curl up and listen to all of his stories, and that's one of the things that we're going to hopefully do with this.
Absolutely. You know, I have no doubts that this is going to be a massive success, just because the people behind it are willing to work so hard to bring it to fruition. And actually, let's talk about that for a little bit. Talk about a little bit of the strategy that the team is employing. What a lot of people in the audience may not know is this project has been in the works for a while. This isn't just something that popped up out of nowhere, that they were going to you know, do this documentary and, you know, end up crowdfunding it eventually. This is something that's been taking months and maybe even over a year to really get to fruition. So the strategy that has been into not even just producing the film, but what's about to happen with the crowdfunding is it takes a lot of work, and that's what a lot of people don't realize is it's not just a magical place, this crowdfunding industry. It's a place that involves a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get you to that place. So what I'd like Tom to kind of just comment on is, you know, no one really sees behind the scenes the people you're calling, the connections you're making, the so-called political campaign you're on right now, so that people can end up voting with their wallets eventually in your crowdfunding campaign because they're truly inspired with what you're doing. So can you give us what your typical day is? I mean, you know, you're from Chicago. What are you doing in Dallas? Is this all for the vision and the passion of One Day, Two Legends?
Absolutely. I have a client in Dallas that I'm going to visit, but I have shown. Oh, I apologize there. I have a client in Dallas that I'm going to visit, but I'm also planning to visit with a soldier who lost all 4 limbs in Afghanistan. I was invited to documentary screening a couple months ago, and it's a documentary about Travis Mills' experience. He stepped on an IED in Afghanistan a couple of years ago and lost all 4 limbs, and it's a miracle he's alive. And I can tell you, as a human being and a filmmaker, that this film is absolutely the best piece of art I've ever seen. The spirit of this young man, who's I think 27 years old, and his attitude about life and about moving on and paying it forward after losing all 4 of his limbs is just, you've got to see it to believe it. He's coming to Chicago next week. I'm planning to visit with him now in the Dallas area, and I want to host a screening of his documentary ourselves, as well as promote his film. And when we do a national concert tour, we're also planning to benefit the Wounded Warrior Project, which is what that's all about. And it's only befitting that Elvis and Joe met in the military for us to do that, and also because Elvis was so giving and philanthropic, gave a lot of money away to a lot of good causes. So in that spirit, we're going to donate to the Wounded Warrior Project, as well as to helping the marathon bombing victims. And the reason I've chosen to drive 1,000 miles each way is so that I can stay on the phone for about 30 hours making phone calls. And that's the kind of work that goes into a project like this. I can't even describe, the hours and, the intensity of what Stephanie and I have gone through. And this has been going on for 4 years now. Wow. And just, the networking and being out there, meeting Bruce Himmelblau, who had connected us with Sue, who is, the perfect editor. It's just like divine intervention. A lot of people have come into our paths, and we feel that, that we're just being guided. Sue's an amazing editor, and just the trailer alone that she's put together just brought me to tears. I can't hardly wait to see the film. Being inside of it for 4 years and seeing all the footage live, but not, not captured on film the way an editor does it, it's been an amazing experience. So to answer your question, it's it's an undertaking. It's something that you live and you breathe, every minute you're awake. It's what you dream of, and with this subject matter and the causes that we're hoping to support, I think that people will get behind it, and I think it's going to be an amazing thing. We're planning to make several editions of the film, as well as a stage play and ultimately a feature film, because it's just an amazing story. And like Sue said so eloquently, Joe Esposito is just an amazing man. Even if he wasn't Elvis Presley's best friend, he's just that sweet Uncle Joe that you have, and he's an endearing man, and he's got a great personality and tells the story so well. So all the ingredients are there, and it's been just the most amazing journey, and I can't wait to see it come to life.
Absolutely, Tom, and I must agree with you. Driving is the best time to talk on the phone, even though it may not be the safest thing to do, but it's the best. Yeah, Bluetooth. But I mean, totally. When that 30 hours, you're basically gonna plan out the next 2 months basically in those 30 hours.
So. Yeah, I think that's for unlimited talk and text and Bluetooth device and a good strong signal. But it gives me time to think and to connect with people that are in our database that have been supporting us, and people that have come forward that want to support us, and people like you in this crowdfunding campaign. I think everything has been put in our paths. Everything seems to be falling in place, and by the grace of God, it'll all work out well.
Absolutely, and so that was perfect what you just gave me, because it goes to show that it's not just about social media. It's not just about PR. It is the intangible things that no one sees that occur behind the scenes that really are going to make the One Day Two Legends project successful. But you know, seeing as we're on social media right now, I guess we could kind of talk about how people can connect. And Sue, you know, this is an interesting mechanism we're on right now. This is a Google Hangout. But kind of, you know, can you just kind of tell us about the website and where they can connect again, just for the audience? What's the website for the?
Well, as I recall, the website is onedaytwolegends.com, and that's spelled out ONEDAYTWOLEDGENDS.com. You gave me a spelling test here that you did not say you were going to do that, but onedaytwolegends.com, that's where you can get a lot of information about the upcoming events, about the project, about Joe himself, about the producers and directors, Stephanie and Tom. There is information to be had there, and if people are interested in becoming part of, I almost consider this a movement at this point, because once you get involved in this, you are so hooked. There's just no letting go. You're hooked now. You have to admit it. You're involved. You're hooked.
I am.
You got it. You have to admit it. You know, there's something really magical about this adventure that I feel that we're all on together. And Joe is kind of like our guide. He's the one who is taking us down this great pathway to information and just pure entertainment, just old-fashioned entertainment where you love the stories, you love hearing what it is that he's done, his life, and it's, you know, yes, he's been around and worked with and knows and is friends with, you know, goo gobs, if you will, of celebrities, but he is so incredibly down to earth. And when I see through the interviews, when they're talking to the celebrities about Joe, with Joe, talking to them about Elvis and the Beatles, they are also down to earth as well. I mean, you think of them as, you know, oh my gosh, Steven Tyler, Aerosmith up there on the stage. You think of that public persona, but when they sit down and they're talking about their idols, and their idols are Elvis, and their idol is Joe, it's an amazing story, and they are just very, very real and honest and sincere. And in my mind, I'm seeing a side of them that I haven't seen before in any other venue or any other vehicle, if you will. I think that this is showing, whether or not you're a fan, again, of Elvis, the Beatles, if you want to know more about Joe, if you're a fan of Aerosmith, Steven Tyler, Barry Gibb, whoever it is, if you're a fan of theirs, you get to know them on a different level by this vehicle. And same thing with the Elvis impersonators, people like Travis Powell, who's going to be performing. It's amazing to listen to them talk about their heroes as well. So I think it's just a wonderful, wonderful adventure that we're all on here.
Absolutely, and Sue, in another life, you should have been, actually, I think you did have a little bit of broadcast interview skills. Because you honestly are great. Your voice is beautiful. You're just perfect for this.
Oh, you are my new best friend. I'm loving you. I am loving you. Thanks.
You're very welcome. So great. So another way that we can, you guys can also follow One Day Two Legends. They have a lot of different accounts on Twitter. Their handle is the number 1 day, the number 2 legends. So at One Day Two Legends. They have a Facebook page for One Day Two Legends. They have a Google Plus page, of course, which many of you who are watching right now have been invited. The best place to find all that information, in fact, is in the Google Plus event. We in this event, we ended up, creating a nice little marketing copy for it. And so if we were to go back into the event right now, you would see that there's simply a lot of ways that you can connect, and really one of the biggest ways is you want to register through their website. You want to go to Twitter and click on the Twitter link. You want to go to Facebook, click on the Facebook link, and of course go on Google Plus and follow their circle. If you do these things, this is the primary way that the rest of the world, the social media world, is going to be kept up to date as to, what are the next steps? How are we going to support the One Day Two Legends crowdfunding campaign that's going to launch on KarmaKrowd very shortly? And the other piece that we're also going to do, which is really administered through social media, is what is known as the ThunderClap. ThunderClap is a way that is a crowdsourcing, basically a way to get everyone in social media to back a certain message that will then be sent out at a given point in time. So when we execute this ThunderClap campaign, you can just click on the actual campaign, and I actually had an example. Unfortunately I don't have the link up right now, but you would be able to really support them through this mechanism and spread their message throughout social media. So one example, just to show you how it works, we'll just click on a random one here. We'll set up this exact format where anyone who wants to support One Day Two Legends can simply click on this icon, and they will just click Add My Support. You would authorize the application to say yes, and then after you do that, on July, whenever the launch date is, that message that they want to send out will be sent throughout your social media network. So it's interesting because let's say you get thousands of supporters. You could potentially in one day shoot the message out to millions of impressions. So we'll be using this tool to really help the message of One Day Two Legends get out there. So all of that, of course, will be on the website. All of that will also be throughout the social media channels. So please make sure you're logged in and follow all the channels that we have spelled out in the event page. So we're coming to a close. Sue, I'm going to give you a last word, and I'm going to give Tom a last word. But is there anything you'd like to say before we sign off tonight, Sue?
I guess my last word will be join the ThunderClap, join the crowdfunding, join One Day Two Legends. It is, I get to sit here and I get to see everything, and believe me, it's worth seeing. So you want to be a part of this. It's very exciting. You definitely want to be a part of this. Excellent, Sue.
And Tom, I'll give you kind of one last word, kind of a call to action. And yeah, go right ahead.
Thank you, Panelists. I want to thank you and Cindy Summerfield at KarmaKrowd for all that you've done in providing this platform. I think you pretty well covered all the different ways that people can contact us. I want to thank everyone from Joe Esposito, Sue Lawson, Stephanie for their vision and all their hard work and dedication. We have a great team. I think it's going to be a beautiful project. We're going to help some good causes, and we're going to have a lot of fun. You can't miss with Elvis and the Beatles, their music, and all the joy and happiness their music brings to millions of people around the world. I want to thank the estates of the Beatles and Elvis Presley and all their support now and in the future. We look forward to working with them to keep the vision of these great artists and their music alive for the next generation. And, we just hope that everyone will come out and support us through the crowdfunding, come out to the concert events, buy the DVD and enjoy the music. And, thank you very much.
Thank you as well, Tom. It's been a pleasure to work with you, Stephanie, and now I met Sue. I had the pleasure of meeting Sue tonight. And I look forward to, work with you guys in the future. And, for everyone watching, KarmaKrowd.com, you should also check out their website, the crowdfunding portal. One Day Two Legends is likely going to be the first project to launch. They're in pre-launch right now, but if you're out there and you're thinking you want to do a crowdfunding campaign eventually, you should go to KarmaKrowd.com and register for the site, and then just go through the process. They really want to take care of you one-on-one. They care about the project creators, and they really help you make sure you're protected from the intellectual property perspective, but they also help you with the marketing, as Tom said. So check that out if you can. This has been really the first episode of KarmaKrowd TV. I was honored to be the host of the show tonight, and I thank Cindy Summerfield, the co-founder, for allowing this event to occur. So to the viewers today, thank you for watching. If you happen to miss the show, you can always check it out on YouTube. There's a YouTube link that will be posted, and this will be replayed for anyone who missed it. So thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Sue, and also thank you to Stephanie. I know that she was having some technical difficulties, but it was nice to have her on just to see her as well. She's just such a wonderful individual as well, and this project's just a great project. So thank you, everyone, and I wish you all a very good night.
Thanks.
Yep. Bye now.